You're listening to Spark TV, where we bring you daily interviews with real women in business at all stages. I'm your host, Danielle Lewis, and I am so grateful to have you here.
I just recently actually uncovered another belief system around, it was very closely tied to that old belief of working hard, but had evolved to being like that it's not safe for me to receive with ease because I had a belief of like, well, you have to struggle. And I feel like that's very connected to like the Aussie battler belief systems. Like
Yes.
we really, not celebritize, but we do honor people who have worked really hard or have had a really hard time or have gone through something so bad. So they deserve to have all these things. But if you've gotten it easy, we judge it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, oh, if I scale and I start to actually bring more people in, it's almost like, well, and it's easy, right? So I feel uncomfortable being able to receive in that space. And again, I had to work through shifting that for myself and do this with a lot of work with a lot of my clients as well, because to go to that next level, you've got to be okay with that next level of wealth. Right. And so even there's education elements there too, because if you don't know how to manage money, or you have fears around tax, or you know even know what to do with your money. Like if you had more money and you knew what to do with, what would you do with it? Like you think it's going to be all fun and games, but all of that fears and your nervous system response kicks in, and it can be scary, and then you sabotage it.
Yeah, it's so wild. It's really interesting. So I love that you have personally gone through this journey as well. And the question I'm going to ask you is probably way too big. But if somebody's listening right now and they're like, yeah, I know I've got these issues, I've got these mindset blocks. Is there anything you could suggest to someone who's listening in right now that might just be something small that they can do to either start being more aware of where they're at or start to go on the journey of working through these issues?
Yeah, 100%. The first step is always awareness. So just bringing as much awareness to your experiences with money on a daily basis. So you'll have certain feelings associated with money, and you'll have certain thoughts that will run through your mind on a regular basis, and you will say the same stuff again and again. I can't afford that, or you shouldn't spend money there, or there'll be something that you will say on a regular basis that is very tied to your money. So just bring as much awareness to it as possible. And I suggest just starting to write them down. If you just start writing them down, you'll start to see like, oh, this, no wonder my experience with money is like this if I believe these things. And then the next step would be is ask yourself, whose thoughts and whose beliefs are they? Because majority of the time they're not yours. They came from a song or a movie, or they came from one of your parents saying it, or another authority figure in your life that have said it. And one of the best things that you can do is actually reject that story and you reject that path and be like, that was like, for me, it was my dad's. It was like, okay, I need to let go of that money has to be hard, or that you have to work really hard to earn money, because it was true for him. He worked really fucking hard. He was a farmer, labor all day for 12 to 16 hours a day. So he worked very hard. I get to hang out with you on a Zoom call. Like it's much easier than what he had to do. And making money in this day and age is much easier. So even just rejecting that story and be like, I honor his path. That was his experience, his journey, his life, and I'm choosing my own. So what choice am I going to have when it comes to my relationship with money? Because at the end of the day, it's a relationship. We relate to it, and how you relate to it matters. So yeah, I would just start there.
That wraps another episode of Spark TV. Shout out to Spark TV sponsor IP Australia for their amazing support of the Spark podcast and women in business. And if no one tells you today, you've got this.